This is Talk of the Town, a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan, with your host, Nancy Smitham, and the latest news from Alpena Community College with Dr. Olin Joynton. And now, today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Nancy Smitham. My first guest today is Christine Wedge from Alpena County Library. Hi, Christine.
Hi, Nancy. How are you?
Very good. Thank you very well. And the first thing we want to let people know is the 1041 books are here, the instruction booklets.
The instruction booklets for the 1040 have finally come in. That we've been getting call after call at the library asking about them. All the tax tables that you need. It's not that long till April 15th.
Yes.
So time to come in and pick up your 1040 book and get your taxes filed.
Yes, it is. And, you know, totally out of your control getting those books.
Well, yeah, they send them when they send them. I think that, you know, part of it is I think that, of course, there were problems with getting them printed because they had to make some changes to the laws. But I also think they're hoping more and more people will e-file. But there are still folks who like to have the hard copy in hand, and finally we have them. So stop in and pick one up.
And are the tax preparers still doing taxes?
They are, and they're at the library on Mondays and Saturdays from 9:30 to noon.
Okay.
And on Wednesdays from 4 to 6:30.
Okay.
And that is for low-income senior filers. Okay. And it's first come, first serve. So I wouldn't, you know, if you're coming for the 9:30 to noon slot, I wouldn't come at 11:45 because there are usually enough people in line ahead of you.
Okay.
So.
All right, and you're doing a Judy Garland film series.
We are. Judy Garland had quite a few musicals there before her big breakout even. Some of them are not as well known. This Sunday at 2 o'clock we'll show The Pirate, which stars Judy Garland and Gene Kelly. Ooh. And then next Sunday we'll show In the Good Old Summertime with Van Johnson. And then on the 24th we'll show A Star is Born, which is the big one. Eric Magnus Eubank, our director, told me that when that was first released, they cut out a big chunk of it, and in the 80s, they re-released it with that part restored, and the story makes a little more sense now. So that one is a little bit longer than the typical movie from that era, so that'll start at 1:30 p.m.
And no charge, just come on in?
Completely free. Now we have that smaller conference room available, and so it's easy to get it dark enough. We'll do some popcorn, free movie, fun thing to do on a Sunday afternoon.
Sounds wonderful. And then on 313, Patrick Labadie, Exposed Shipwrecks at 6:30.
Right, that's Wednesday the 13th at 6:30 at night. Now that the water levels in the Great Lakes are sinking so low, a lot of wrecks that were previously underwater, you can see them now. So Pat will talk a little bit about where are those wrecks and how are they being documented? How are we caring for them and making a record that they were here. So I think that'll really be an interesting program. Mr. Labadie always has great stories to tell.
He's such an expert, too.
He really is.
And then I read something in the Free Press recently, and I was talking to Jeff Gray about it, that, you know, they're really worried about navigation now in the Great Lakes and in shipping canals because of things that were always down there. Now they're exposed or very close to the surface. Exactly.
It is going to be a very tricky season, I think. I did, though, also read in the paper that there have been a lot of dredging contracts awarded by the state.
Yes.
So maybe some of that will get cleared up with that.
We can hope.
We can. Yep.
Now, also on the 13th, you're having at 2 p.m. a Zinio class.
Right. Zinio is the program that we use to make over 130 different magazines available to our patrons digitally. So tablets, smartphones, laptop, desktop. You can download the digital issue of a magazine and read it right on your computer or right on your smartphone.
Yes.
Just flip through the pages. It's exactly the same content. You do need a library card. You don't have to be in the library to do it. But if you'd like a little class to kind of walk you through how to get signed up and what titles are available and things like that, you can come by at 2 o'clock and we'll walk you through it.
Perfect. Sounds like fun. And then 316, Character Breakfast.
Right, that's the Saturday Character Breakfast. We always have Clifford the Big Red Dog. This time we'll also have Llama Llama from a popular children's book. And we have several other beloved children's characters. There are 2 time slots for that, 2 seatings for that breakfast. And you need to call and register.
Yes, very important.
So if you're thinking about it for the kids or the grandkids in your life, those spots are filling up. You can't just come on that day.
Okay.
You need to call the library at 356-6188 and sign up for a spot.
Sounds good. Then on 316 also the Thunder Bay Junior High Book Club.
This is a new effort that's headed up by Ann Harity, and she is taking 6th through 8th graders and talking with them about a couple of different books. She started it last month, and this month the book will be Zen and the Art of Faking It by Jordan Sonnenblick. They'll meet at 2 o'clock in the conference room, and she'll have some snacks and just informal. Just talk about the book a little bit, get to know other kids your age who like to read. You do not have to be a student at Thunder Bay Junior High to attend, so if you homeschool someone or you know someone who's at a different school that is in the 6th through 8th grade,
Perfect.
They're more than welcome to come, and it's completely free.
Okay, and then 3:20, Cooking with Eric at 7 p.m., a real popular
Right.
event. He gives tasting, cameras, mirrors, so easy to see everything.
It's really been a program that's just sort of grown on its own. His programs, of course, have always been very popular, but the more audience we've had the terrific problem of some people couldn't see, which it was nice to have so many people that we needed to
Right.
worry about that. So now we've got some cameras going, and the live feed of what he's doing kind of flashed up on a screen, so even if you're not in the front row, you get a good view of
Yes.
how he's mixing things, how he's adding things in. So that's always a popular program, and that's on Wednesday, the 20th at 7 o'clock.
And we're quickly running out of time, so we want to make sure we mention the Spelling Bee. Still time to sign up.
Still time to sign up. That's a terrific program. Benefits the Read Adult Literacy and is sponsored by the Friends of the Library. So credit unions and eye doctors throughout Alpena are sponsoring that. You can either get on a team, or if you just want to watch and have a fun evening, it's just one canned good to get in and have a good time listening to the
Ooh,
spelling.
perfect. And I saw the posters are beautiful, so they're out and about. Okay, so, and then 3:25 is a Leadership Book Club.
Right. The book selection for this month will be Howard Gardner's Good Work, and that talks about ethics and leadership in business.
Okay, and then Women's History Month. So come
Which
and
is-
check out the special displays.
All of March, we're including on Facebook page, we have some really interesting pictures from early Alpena and the
Wow.
women who kind of helped shape it. And there's a slideshow of a bunch of images from that time period right outside of Special Collections. You can come by anytime and take a look at that. And if one of them sparks your interest, you can certainly find out more with the folks in our Special Collections department.
Perfect. And then next month, getting prepared for Books in the Baking program. That's such a fun thing.
That is really a fun thing. You use a book to inspire some sort of a creation, and we tend to think of it as being cakes, but we've had some really terrific not cake things at all. You know, we've had all kinds of crazy things that people have brought, and so it's limited only by your imagination. And that one will be at the very beginning of May, but April's the time to be thinking about it. And then, of course, in April we'll also have Baby Farm Animal Day, which is always very popular.
And we'll talk about that next month.
We will.
Thank you so much for being here and for all the good information.
Thanks a lot, Nancy.
Thank you. I'll be right back with some information from Alpena Civic Theater following these messages. Hi, welcome back. My next two guests are both from Alpena Civic Theater. I have Karen Thompson and Scott Edgar. Hi and welcome.
Good morning.
Scott, I'm going to start with you because you've never been on before, so I'm going to pick on you first. So Sex Please We're 60. When I tell people about this production, they say, what's it about? And I say, well, I think it's pretty obvious, but maybe it isn't. So tell me about Sex Please We're 60.
Sex Please We're 60 is a comedy farce that takes place in a modern-day bed and breakfast where Karen is the proprietress, Mrs. Stancliffe, and the antics that occur when her neighbor and suitor has created a little blue pill to increase the libido in menopausal women.
Ah.
And what happens when the two gentlemen accidentally take it.
Oh, boy.
And it tends to have the reverse effects and causes them to get menopausal, have hot flashes, then mood swings and everything else. And
All
it's
those
just
things.
it's a laugh a minute. And Karen?
Karen, tell me about your role.
Well, like you said, I play Mrs. Stancliffe, the proprietress of the bed and breakfast. And I have two neighbors. One, Bud, thinks he's God's gift to women.
Okay.
And he's always putting the make on my female guests.
Okay.
And he calls himself Bud the Stud. And the other one is Henry, who is my suitor, I'm a widow for quite some time, for 25 years, and for 20 of those years he's been trying to get me to marry him, and he comes and proposes to me every day.
Ah.
But as Scott said, he's a retired chemist, and so he's not exactly what you'd call the romantic type. And he hasn't been doing, his wooing has not been successful. He has not been doing anything to really get me interested, and I just keep putting him off. And so he as a chemist, invents this pill because he's hoping to get my interest in him up. But he's, you know, a very moral, ethical type of guy, and he really doesn't want to slip it to me unintentionally or anything like that, so he's trying to figure out what to do. And Bud the stud takes matters into his own hands. He decides to help Henry out and slip it to me. But unfortunately, one of my guests gets it instead of me. But we're not really, well, I shouldn't have said that, I guess, because
That's okay. That's
I'm giving
okay.
too much away. But we're not really sure, actually. He slips it in one of the glasses, and we're not really sure which
got
one
it?
of us has gotten it. And like he said, the confusion. Well, anyway, meanwhile, I've got 3 different female guests there, and one of whom we didn't know has come to help Henry, and Bud's got putting the make on all of them, and they find out about it and decide to get even with Bud by switching
Switching Bud's Viagra with the Venusia.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called Venusia, named after Venus, the goddess of.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
of
So what
love.
role are you playing, Bud the stud or Henry?
No, I'm the co-director for the show this
Oh,
time.
you're co-director.
So with Chip Lavely, and we have worked really hard to have an excellent cast.
Who's playing the characters?
Okay, we have Karen as Mrs. Stancliffe. Bud is being played by Pat Skiba.
Patrick
Okay,
Skiba.
okay, I know Patrick.
Okay, Rick Messler is Henry, the suitor.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of things at TBT.
And then we have Nancy Mead is playing Hillary Hudson, who is the assistant to Henry.
Former
Okay.
assistant, yeah.
Okay.
And then we have
Julie Myers.
Julie Myers is Charmaine Beauregard, the Belle of the South.
Okay.
And Victoria Ambrose is being played by Sharon Shemke. And then, let's see, I think that covers everybody, doesn't it?
I do believe so.
And then
yeah. There's only 6 of us.
Derek Spack has been kind enough to come in and do our lights for us this show.
Oh, yay.
And
Jackie Grilke's
Jackie,
our
correct.
stage
Jackie,
manager.
yep.
Wow.
And this is the first really big role that Sharon has ever played. She's been in, like, she was in the chorus and
Sure.
Calamity Jane and stuff like that. So she plays Victoria Ambrose, a writer of romance novels, who's looking for inspiration to finish a novel. And of course, she finds it. And Charmaine's kind of the type of Blanche on the Golden Girls.
Ah, okay.
You know, the highly sexed Southern belle. And then, of course, as you said, Hillary is the former assistant to Henry before he retired.
Now, who wrote this production, Karen?
It's written by Michael and Susan Parker,
Okay.
and it's
fairly recently, back
yeah.
in '87.
Oh, wow, that is recent for a production.
yeah, they've written a number of these kinds of things. I guess I would call them adult comedies. They're a little risque. There's nothing really offensive in it, language-wise or otherwise.
Nope.
But but the subject matter.
So more of an
is-
adult audience, you feel?
Yeah, I feel so. Older kids.
Okay.
Maybe teens.
All right.
But I'm not sure.
I don't think the elementary school generation would get it. so-
Okay.
Yeah, it maybe would go over their head anyway. So.
Hopefully it would.
But it could spark some questions in the what do we call them, the tweens?
Yes. So when can we come to see it at Alpena Civic Theater?
The show opens Thursday evening, March the 14th
Okay.
at 7:30. We will run the 14th through the 17th and the 21st through the 24th.
Okay.
Shows are at 7:30 Thursday through Saturday and 2 o'clock on Sundays.
Okay.
Tickets are $14, and you can call the box office at
was 12.
3.
12.
Correct, it is 12.
Okay.
And you can contact the box office at 354-3624 for reservations and showtime.
And as always with your productions, they always sell out, so we say people do not wait till the last minute to get your tickets. Call, use your credit card, get those tickets reserved in your name. Make sure you have your tickets because you don't want to miss out.
This
We
is
don't.
this is so funny. There are so many laughs that you'll really be sorry if you missed it. And I'm off stage for a certain amount of time, so right now while we're rehearsing, I come out in the audience and watch certain parts of it, especially when all the mayhem really ensues, which I'm not there for. And I laugh at it night after night, and I know what to expect, and I think it's that funny. So you'll really be sorry if you miss it, I think. And of course, as usual, Chip designed the set, and the set is beautiful.
Spectacular.
Yep.
Spectacular is putting
That's
it
how Chip does things.
You could move right in, you know, as always with his sets. They're very striking. So.
Okay, one more time. When can we come to see it?
March 14th through the 17th and 21st through the 24th.
Sex Please, We're 60.
Right, opens next Thursday.
Thank you both very much for being here.
No, thank you for having
Thank you.
us.
Please stay tuned for Dr. Olin Joynton following these messages.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Talk of the Town. I'm Olin Joynton, president of Alpena Community College. My guests this morning are Michael Link, who's an ACC student in the auto body program. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Thank you.
And Greg Augustin, the instructor for the auto body program. Welcome, Greg.
Good morning, Olin.
And as you might be able to tell, our topic today is going to be the auto body program at ACC. Mike, let's begin with you. Where did you grow up? How did you get interested in the trade, and how did you end up at ACC?
Well, I grew up in Manistee, Michigan, and with my dad running the business, I'm always hearing about the shop, always learning new things about what's going on in the business, always going down to the shop. And I really got interested when I first bought my truck when I turned 16, started to fix that up. And that really just sparked everything for me.
So your father owns a shop in Manistee over there on the west side.
Yep.
And you grew up around that environment and started applying the trade some yourself in your dad's shop. And
Yep.
here you are getting the certificate proving that you've been through the formal training as well.
Yep.
That's great. What do you like best about the program?
I like the hands-on, how much hands-on work there is. Like, that's the way I learn it the best, really, and Greg's here with me a lot to help me out.
Very good. I hear that from a lot of students that, you know, theory is fine and the book work has its place, but where they really pick up the knowledge and the skill is by practicing.
Yep. By doing.
You're in the utility tech program or the concrete tech program or the auto mechanics program. It's very much a featured part of learning in this program. How do you like the program thus far?
I like it.
Good.
I like it.
Something you would encourage others to think about and investigate?
Yeah, I have already encouraged a couple too. Got another one of my friends back from home coming to learn here next year.
Oh, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Greg, how about your perspective on the program? How do you figure out what to teach, and what are some of the different topics within the program that you'd like to feature?
As far as figuring out what to teach, you know, auto body repair covers a lot of different areas. What we start out with is learning the basics, learning how to use plastic filler, learning how to weld in patches, some rust repair, and I carry the students on through from that phase into the painting aspect. From painting, we move on to heavier collision, frame repair, and structural panel replacement, get into some mechanical repairs that are involved in collision repair. And it's basically a simple curriculum. You just follow the processes that you would in a normal shop atmosphere. The main thing is getting the kind of jobs in that are going to benefit the students the most. I want them to do a lot of different things rather than be committed to one large project. I would like to see them do more individualized things so that they have, like we just talked about, more hands-on opportunities to practice their skills.
So a broad-based curriculum then touching on many different aspects of the field. So a student going out looking for employment will have some familiarity with a whole range of things.
Absolutely. And now there are some things we can't, you know, dedicate all our time to, so we do have to pull pieces and do little things here and there.
Sure.
It would be impossible over the amount of time that we're together to actually get real in depth in every aspect of auto body repair.
Sure.
So as an instructor, my first and foremost interest is to find the kind of jobs that are going to benefit the students the most for the short period of time that they're here.
And I know we have relationships with shops in the area, maybe other parts of the state as well, to find out what it is that the employees are looking for in students.
Absolutely. What I'm getting from a lot of the employers is that they want technicians that know how to do collision repair work. As far as restoration, that's a small niche in the market. A lot of shops take that kind of work on when the collision repair isn't readily available. Some shops do specialize in restoration, but the main trend is to teach these guys collision repair, the basics, so they can get in and learn from skilled technicians to eventually become skilled technicians themselves.
That's great. Michael, what's the length of the program? How long does it take from start to finish?
It's a 10-month program over 3 semesters of schooling. I don't know, I like how short it is, honestly.
Yeah.
All my friends are going to have to come back to college next fall. I'm done. I'm already in the industry.
So you're in the second semester of 3. You started in the fall, is that correct?
Yep.
Now we're in the so-called spring semester, even though there's snow piled around everywhere.
Yep.
And then you'll do some work in the summer to complete the certificate requirements. Is that correct?
Yep.
Very good.
Yes.
And all the students have commented on how fast time is going.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it does go quick.
Now, what's your experience in the amount of time that it takes a person graduating from our program to really work up to a high level of skill as a professional?
From my personal experience, I went to Ferris State through their auto body program.
Right.
2 years to get your feet wet. You're going to make mistakes. The biggest thing that I push with my students is to be a sponge. Watch how everybody does things and take the good aspects and develop your own technique. Because there are a lot of different ways to do body work. The ultimate goal is to have a quality job when it's done and a job that's going to last. From my experience, it took about 2 years to where I was comfortable, to where I was actually making decent money and confident in my abilities, to where I could take on jobs and just run with them.
Does that ring true, your experience and observation around your father's shop?
Yes, it does. I was just back this past spring break working on a job in the shop with the other guys. So it's like I'm actually working there, and it's a whole different ball game than what I'm doing here. Yeah. It's fast-paced. Everything has to be done at a certain time and everything.
Sure. It reminds me of one of 5 goals we have for students in their learning at ACC. And one of them is learning how to learn. So you're not going to come out of a program knowing everything or having all the skills, but you're going to know the basics so that you can access the knowledge and further self-development that you need to work up to that level. Well, thank you, gentlemen, both for being on the program today.
Yeah,
thank you.
It's a great program for those members of the audience out there. Please come by and get to know Greg and learn about the program. Good morning.
This has been Talk of the Town with Nancy Smitham and Dr. Olin Joynton. For a list of events taking place in Northeast Michigan, visit our website at wbkb11.com and click on Community. This has been a Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation production.